Hello everyone and welcome to Module 4 in our ESCAPE2 project. Today we will carry out the Module 4 together. Our topic is stimulating demand, tools to develop a pipeline of new agricultural, adventure, food, recreation, hospitality guides or entrepreneurs in your region. So let's start. The main objective of this module is to show to rural tourism entrepreneurs, inclusive of culture, heritage or nature-based tourism, how to stimulate the demand by implementing different actions in their current and future businesses. This module demonstrates concrete practices, ideas and innovative solutions to attract more visitors in rural areas and rural businesses. Let's have a look at the table of contents. First part of our module is why is it important to stimulate the demand. Second part, we will show you some innovative, creative tools to attract tourists in rural areas. The third part of our module is activities and dynamics to stimulate creativity in entrepreneurs from rural areas. And the last, fourth part of our module is stimulating demand by working in a network and circular economy. Let's have a look at learning outcomes. By completing this module, you will learn how to become a successful entrepreneur in rural tourism by learning the key ways to stimulate the demand in your business. You will understand why is it important to stimulate the demand. You will have the chance to implement creative activities to increase the awareness of your business. You will also learn how to successfully collaborate in a network. And last but not least, you will implement all the good practices you have learned during this module by interactive and interesting case studies. First part of our module. Why is it important to stimulate the demand? Rural areas attract tourists not only because of their natural and cultural heritage, but also because of adventure or sports opportunities, gastronomy, local production, and many other reasons. Nevertheless, it is extremely important to stimulate the demand in order to attract more tourists. Entrepreneurs from rural areas and in agritourism in general, each owner of business in rural areas should start with preparing a concept note with ideas and an action plan for the business in their region, because this will encourage the inflow, the tourist inflow, but it will also support local communities. This task can leave a contribution to strengthen the rural areas and give new opportunities to the people living in the rural area. As we all know, rural tourism provides valuable commercial and employment opportunities for communities. Rural tourism has a high potential to stimulate local economic growth and social change because of its complementarity with other economic activities, its contribution to GDP and job creation, and its capacity to promote the dispersal of demand in time and along a wider territory. In this second part of our module, we will give you information on innovative and creative tools to attract tourists in rural areas. Digital tools. Following the market analysis that we have made in 9 European countries for ESCAPE2 project, There is currently a large rural-urban gap in the use of digital tools by micro and small accommodation enterprises in rural areas. According to the collected data, the use of digital tools by rural businesses is low due to the lack of access to mobile internet, insufficient awareness of the digital tools available, and insufficient digital literacy to utilize them. However, digital tools are a powerful instrument to stimulate the demand in rural tourism. Development in rural areas could be an opportunity to create new jobs, stabilize rural populations, and implement innovation in different industries. Let's have a look at the digital tools in the sector of accommodation. We will divide the digital tools in two parts. First part is basic essential tools, and second part is the expert tools. So we can say that the basic essential tools are necessary for each and for every accommodation business in rural areas. Expert tools are the ones that are additional, so it is not obligatory to have them, although it will be very useful for you. Let's have a look at the basic tools. Of course, website, social media profiles, reservation software, and online procurement, as said e-commerce. The expert tools are customer relationship management, CRM, data analytics software, mobile application, interactive stands for information about the area in your accommodation. For example, you can have the reception of your guest house or a hotel, family hotel, and you can have a small interactive stand just after the guest comes in. These interactive stands could provide information on cultural monuments nearby, sports and adventure activities, or upcoming events in the area. Let's have a look at digital tools in the sector of hospitality. As well as the previous slide, we have divided the tools in two parts: basic essential tools and the expert tools. Of course, website, social media profiles, and online reservation system. The expert tools are as well as for the accommodation, CRM, and data analytics software. After we have taken a look into the digital tools, now we'll have a look into financial tools. The European Union is committed to supporting the development of rural tourism small businesses through several funds such as the European Regional Development Fund, Cohesion Fund, European Social Fund, and the European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development. However, there remains a disconnect between the numbers of small and medium enterprises and support for their development in urban areas compared to rural areas. Investments in rural areas should be not only public ones, but also private ones. Marketing tools to stimulate the demand. Stimulating demand in rural tourism requires using large number of tools. Indeed, marketing is one of the most powerful ones. Here is a list of the main marketing tools for stimulating demand in agrotourism. In this list of marketing tools, you will find two types of tools. digital ones because we have the digital marketing part and non-digital ones. Of course, website and social media presence. It is extremely important nowadays, especially for young people, because for them this is the only way they can trust a business or a brand. They have to see it online. Local press, radio, or TV advertising, newsletters to your database, e-commerce and mobile applications, partnerships with other local producers, rural businesses, creating a calendar of events to disseminate in advance the activities of your business, partnerships with local schools, universities, local action groups, or every stakeholder in your area that could be in connection with your business. Taking part in different promotional network is also very important in order to increase the awareness of your business. For example, if you have a small guest house or a small hotel in a rural area or whatever kind of accommodation you have, you can take part in promotional networks like TripAdvisor, Trivago, Booking, etc. Now we will talk about sustainability. You know very well that tourism is an activity that contributes directly and indirectly to the development of rural areas. But this development needs to be sustainable, especially in rural areas. To do this, appropriate policies that positively influence these areas from an economic, social, cultural point of view must be implemented. Let's take a look into the three main questions to consider. The first one is about the economic area of your business. Is your business attracting investors in your region? The second question is about the social area. Is your business employing people from the rural area? The third question is about culture. How does your business support the local cultural heritage? Now let's have a look at the staff training tools. Of course, if you are employing people, if you have a staff in your business, you have to provide training tools. Entrepreneurs from rural areas are often experiencing difficulties in finding labor hand, as most of the young people are leaving the countryside in order to find more stable jobs in the big cities. Business owners in rural areas should try to offer full-time job positions instead of seasonal workplaces, providing initial training, language courses, and opportunities for professional growth is key factor for employees' loyalty. A powerful tool to stimulate the demand and to make tourists feel more comfortable in your area is to provide an excellent service. The excellent service includes well-trained staff speaking at least one foreign language with increased awareness about the heritage of the area. In order to stimulate the demand, you have to have good infrastructure and accessibility to your place. Stimulating demand would be much easier if several rules are followed. For example, availability of parking areas, road signs and sufficient local transport options, providing access for people with disabilities, providing services for people with disabilities, for example, audio guides, ramp access, etc. Opening and closing hours of cultural sites, farms, Agritourism businesses, hospitality, hotels, guest rooms must be extended during summer to maintain the site open during weekends. Availability of free Wi-Fi, of course, it is crucial, and presence on Google Maps. Now, let's summarize everything that we have said till now. The main tools to stimulate demand in rural tourism are: improve management skills and implement software systems for better organization of the stay of the guests. Ensure the accessibility for people with special needs and disabilities. Invest in customer relations and marketing of the business. Create packages with different physical activities, interesting workshops for traditional food or cultural visits. Serve local food from local farmers, and create a network between guests and local producers. I will give a small example. I'm a house owner in a rural area, and I have to provide breakfasts and I have to provide food for my guests. Of course, I will contact the local producer in the area who produces vegetables, milk, cheese, whatever they have, in order to propose clean food and to promote the local production. This is the main concept of businesses in rural areas, to work together. And it is not possible to steal clients. The only thing in this situation is that both and each part of this mm, scenario is winning. Another tool: provide an authentic emotional experience to the guests by organizing, for example, folklore programs or other entertaining activities. Provide parking areas near the site. In many rural areas, there is a problem with the coverage of the mobile operators and respectively with the internet providers. Nowadays, in order to attract tourists, we must provide the condition for the use of smart devices. Without this, no tourist would come to visit us, even if it is for a few hours. Another two are related European or national projects for subsidies in order to improve your business. We have come to the third part of our module, Activities Dynamics to Stimulate Creativity in Entrepreneurs. First of all, let's have a look about what is creativity. Thinking out of the box? Yes. Finding alternative solutions to problems? Yes, it is. Creativity is the ability to see new relationships, to produce extraordinary ideas, and to deviate from traditional patterns of thinking. Creativity is, first of all, a process of developing and expressing new ideas. Creativity is also our ability to create something. Creativity is also inventing, experimenting, growing, and taking risks. Let's have a look at the first creative activity for entrepreneurs in rural areas. Activity 1 is called Listen and Share. The type of creativity is narratological creativity. In this activity, each two people form a group. One is the listener and the other one is the speaker. During 5 minutes, the speaker tells a story. It can be not a real story, but an invented one, with a lot of details like precise dates, hours, a lot of names and numbers. The listener only listens without taking notes. After the 5 minutes, the listener should repeat the story that the speaker told him, trying to miss the less information possible. Afterwards, they exchange roles. The listener becomes the speaker so that both of us see either they're better at listening or speaking. This activity trains our brain to remember details and shows how the same story could be transformed by the point of view of another person. The second activity is called Be My Guest. Attention, this activity could only be done in face-to-face. Activity 2, Be My Guest. Type of creativity, analogical creativity. An outsider, a person not involved in agriculture, working in completely another field, comes into your business and tries to promote new creative ideas into your existing agricultural system. The bigger the diversity of the outsiders involved, the better. Different ages, genders, skills, competencies, or education would give a variety of visions and ideas. The point of view of an exterior person is more accurate as his opinion is always objective. The recommendations he could provide would be useful for solving current problems. Also, he could give you his point of view as a customer, for example, what he likes most in your product if you are offering a product, why he buys exactly this product, where else he would like to find it, etc. Let's have a look at the third activity that we will present you today. It's called Reuse Me. Every production has a lot of leftovers and waste. This activity involves all the workers. The entire staff has to list the waste of the company. It could be papers, grape skin, meat, seeds, flowers, whatever you want. After listing all the waste that the company has, employees can split in small groups. The aim of the exercise is to find a way for a circular economy and provide environmental friendly solutions to the problems. Doing this will enlarge the creativity in the team, but will also make the company more eco-friendly and sustainable. And we have come to the last part of our module, stimulating demand by working in network and circular economy. Let's have a look at the definition of circular economy. The circular economy is a model of production and consumption which involves sharing, leasing, reusing, repairing, recycling existing materials and products as long as possible. In this way, the life cycle of products is extended. In practice, it implies reducing waste to a minimum. The circular economy holds big potentials for rural tourism businesses in reaching higher sustainability and profitability, not least related to the provision of accommodation, food and spa services, and the related material flows of energy, foodstuffs, water, etc. Now, I will present you an activity. You are an owner of a vineyard in a small village in rural area. What will be the strategy to stimulate demand? The idea is to brainstorm and list at least 5 good practices or tools that you would implement in your vineyard to attract more tourists. You have 30 minutes to do this. Well done! Module 4 is completed. Next is Module 5, and the topic is Accessing Resources, Training in Innovative Access to Public Finance, Crowdfunding Potential, and Attracting Corporate Sponsors. Thank you very much for your attention, and good luck with the next modules.